tonight's video, it's actually going to be another build. Yay! So, today's build is going to be on the Golden Child, Bertrand. So, Bertrand is one of the heroes that you've been seeing me recently. I've been talking about him a lot, so I'm just going to give you my build and my kind of rundown overview of Bertrand. I already recorded this video once, to be honest with you, and then I was like, doing the timestamps, and I forgot to do the pairings. Oh, so re-recording this. So I'll try and be fast and a bit more concise on this recording here. So we have the rage skill that costs 1,000 rage. Attack range is very far. Entitled Rage. I love the naming schemes for these people, for these heroes as well. It's awesome. So Bertrand deals damage to the target legion and consumes all stacks of golden mark, increasing damage by 5% per stack. Magic type damage factor of 1300. So if we are comparing Bertrand's rage skill with some of the others, we do have the 1200 diffuse damage here, so it's about 100 damage more, but it doesn't hit the multiple targets. We've got another 1200 here. You know, Atheist, a single target, very far, comparing it 1-to-1, is only 800. So he is going to be smacking hard there with that max rage skill. Now getting into the second skill here, the first passive, Compound Interest. When Legion deals hero skill damage, they gain 1 stack of golden mark for 5 seconds. Max 3 stacks. Each stack of golden mark increases hero's skill damage dealt by 10%. Okay, so if you remember the rage skill here, we have increases damage dealt by 5% per stack. So we get 3 stacks, so that's 30% damage increase for the rage skill. Awesome. Loving it. Now, one thing that I do want to mention is right here. Can be triggered by skill damage, but not by continuous damage. So just continuous damage like the Scorch effect. So each mark of the Scorch isn't actually going to be stacking any of the golden mark. Just an FYI there. The third ability, or the second passive skill, Magical Circle. The Legion magic units gain 25% magic attack and 10% defense penetration at max rank there, and then just a flat buff. And then finally the last one, Blue Blood, the fourth skill here. While in the field, Legion gains 5% attack or 15% attack and defense if they have not taken normal attack damage for 3 seconds. So if you do see a Bertrand in the field, you do want to try and hit him at least every 3 seconds just to stop this from scaling up. And then finally, we do have Noblesse, the Awakened here, Noblesse Oblige, and that just increases the damage factor of the rage skill 200 points, making it 1500 skill damage factor. And then we're still getting the compound interest on top of that. So Bertrand there is really about single target damage. So just for skill order for maxing it out, if you are doing the locking system, what I would do is 1, 2, 3, 4, as I've done here, max from left to right. The reason that I take the third skill over equal on the 2 there is, yeah, that is 15%, but it can, like I said, if you get attacked, you don't always have the buff, where this is always the guaranteed buff here. So I prioritize the third skill over the fourth here. My Bertrand, I have full starred him, and I just got the one more level to put up there for him. Next up, we're going to be moving into the talent tree. So the talent tree here, this is going to be the one that I will be running pretty much 100% of the time. Most of the time I'm going to be running this skill tree, so this is the one that I'm going to be using for him. So we start with getting the attack, the march speed, the overall health into the mighty power. Then I preferred going right first, but if you want to get left to go and get the magic speed, you can get that move speed first there. So we're going to go get the overall attack. We're going to get intimidation for the extra 4% hero skill damage, and then head held high for just a little bit extra rage regen. And then I've got Spirit of Rage. Casting rage skills grants 20 additional rage over getting boiling blood, which makes it so when your commander casts a rage skill, the deputy deals 8% more damage the next time they cast a rage skill. I've just gone and got the rage cycle because with Bertrand, he's got that 1500 damage there if he's awakened, or that 1300 damage there, so we're going to be wanting to pump that out as often as possible. Next, we've got detached. Now this is going to lower the normal attack damage by 4%, normal attack damage reduction 4%, but hero skill damage dealt bonus 8%. So these 5 points here are worth both of these intimidations at 8%. So this 5 points counts as 10 points anywhere else on the tree. So that's why we're going to be grabbing that. And then next we've got focused, which when launching a normal attack, your legion has a 10% chance to gain hero skill focus, increasing their hero skill crit rate by 10% for 5 seconds. Loving it, loving the crit rate, because then we're getting the Raging Tide. Your legion deals 15% more hero skill crit damage. So if you land a crit, we're getting the crit chance, then we're getting the crit damage. You land a crit, you are going to be blowing someone up. And then next, what I've taken personally is Caged Animal. Every time your hero casts a rage skill, they gain 0.5% more hero skill damage up to a maximum of 8 versus Thirst for Blood. Now, Thirst for Blood, absolutely, you can take this one as well. It just gives you the flat damage factor of 60 whenever you cast a rage cycle. So if you're only casting a single rage cycle, then your Thirst for Blood's better. If you're able to cast, let's say, 5, 7, 10... probably not 10, but like 5 or 7, rage cycles, then your Caged Animal is going to be better if you're just standing in the back line, just absolutely hammering on the tanks. Now, looking at that quickly, we're just going to go back to, so if you're using your Celestials or Mages, whatever you're using for him, just looking at the unit advantage system, mages have the advantage over tanks, tanks over cavalry, cavalry over archers, archers over mages. So we are going to be bursting down those infantry players. And being in Season 3, Bertrand being a Season 3 G2 hero, so you can use your G2 tokens for your Bertrand, but he is released in Season 3 there. He is going to be absolutely a tank melter. So with everyone playing Gorish, Skogul, there's going to be so many more tank players starting in Season 3. They're kind of scarce Season 1, Season 2 from what I've seen in a lot of servers. But then as soon as you get Season 3, you have just a bunch of people playing tanks now. So this is going to be your absolute tank melter. So next up for the talent tree there, we're going left. We've got the magical HP. We've got the march speed at 15%. We've got another intimidation for the 4%. And then I've gone with the magic maelstrom. So I haven't tested this myself personally, but when your legion consists entirely of magical units, they gain defense penetration before casting a rage skill, ignoring 10% of the target's defense for 5 seconds. This can be triggered every 3 seconds. I believe that stacks with the defense penetration here, but like I said, I haven't tested it personally, so I'm not 100% certain on that, but I see that 30% of other players have selected it as well, so that's just where I'm basing my assumption off on they stack, taking that over energy boost with the 8% chance to add an additional target, because what I'm looking at doing with Bertrand is bursting down the enemy infantry. We're looking to take them down and absolutely kill them. Now, if you don't need the march speed of the 15%, taking Foresight will be better. If you don't need your march speed, then this is going to be better. Foresight, in my opinion, is better than held high. because every fourth rage cycle, you are getting that additional 75 rage. So you're getting the 75 rage plus the 20 rage there. So you're just absolutely cycling your rage cycles even more. Now, the reason for this 15%, and we'll get into that with the pairings. So the second tree here, if you don't need the march speed, another option that you can do here is we're taking the exact same skills tree, but we're going up into the PvP tree, gaining more damage, more attack damage, gaining that 5% right here with the hero skill damage, and then we're gaining increased damage dealt by your legions while in battle by 1% every 10 seconds for a maximum of 3, just absolutely with the caged animal, with the Army of Valor there. The other one is just defense. So taking that, we are going to be scaling our damage as the battle continues, and you are going to be absolutely melting the enemy. Oh, that shouldn't be there. That should be down there with detached. But anyways, that scales them up if you are using your Celestials. Because if you remember, increase magical attack by 5% as long as the Legion has not moved for 4 seconds while in battle. So we're just so that tree just absolutely scales the damage, and that should not be there. That should be down there if you are taking a screenshot. So that's that. So next up with Bertrand here, we are going to be moving into the pairings on who I would pair Bertrand with. Now with Bertrand, it is typically going to be paired with the Tohar. And this is what I'm going to be doing for the pairing here is going to be Bertrand as my primary and then Tohar as my deputy. So he does get, with his rage skill, after launching 3 normal attacks, Tohar channels Rage of the Plateau, dealing damage to the target legion every second. So it's 3 hits of Rage of the Plateau there, which does give us the full compound interest. So this does fully stack that with this, so that's why I'm taking Tohar. But the thing to note about taking Bertrand Tohar is we went over the skills already with him, but looking at the skill bonus, right, we got magical unit, and we got counter attack damage reduction, defense bonus. Nowhere on here is march speed. So if you're looking at like Velen here, you do have the 20% march speed. If you're looking at your Horn, you've got the 20% march speed, right? Your Atheist has march speed bonus, 20%. Your, Thea, there's going to be 20% march speed bonus. So this Legion doesn't have the 20% march speed bonus, and that's why I'm taking the 15%, because if we take just the overall speed, so with the Lilia here, we don't need to take the march speed at all. We can put that somewhere else, because just this 6% is still, if we're pairing Lilia with, let's say, Thea, it's still going to be a faster march because this is only 15%, not 20%, so we're about 5% short on the march speed. So that's why I've taken the magical speed up there over taking the foresight. It's just to try and have my legions a bit closer in march speed, but the Bertrand is going to be a bit slower than the rest of my other legions. So who are other pairs for Bertrand? Now he does have the flying hero effect, so you can pair him with the Thea for the flying effect with your Celestials, or your Horn if you wanted to, so you could fly over the map. I don't think those are going to be the best options because of the compound interest. The Thea is not really going to be stacking because right here Legion deals hero skill damage, so your Thea is only a shield, so you're not getting the compound interest. Now I have heard of people running Bertrand with Lilia, or Lilia Bertrand, whichever order you want to go there. I think it's Bertrand primary with Lilia secondary, just because she does hit the 2 nearby legions, or you could go your Bertrand with your Velen. But the #1 pick, in my opinion, is just putting Bertrand with the Tohar. So just keeping them kind of paired together and working them like that. So next up, we are going to be just looking quickly over the artifacts here. So artifact details, the number one artifact for this March is going to be the artifact that was made for Bertrand, and that is going to be the Mirage Orb. As you already know, I have mine fully starred out. Fully level 60 and level 5 Nightmarish for the active ability there, which does have the additional effect. Every time your Legion gains a buff effect through a hero skill, they deal 15% more artifact skill damage up to a maximum 45%, duration 20 seconds. So with Bertrand, the final point that I will be doing with my skill tree is just taking right here, taking synergy with the steady hands, just getting that extra 2% hero skill damage bonus. Should have mentioned that earlier, but at least I remembered this time. So this is going to be the number one artifact that you're going to want to use. If you don't have access to this artifact for the keys or whatever reason, you could be running the Infernal Flame, or you could be running your Phoenix Eye. It is going to be Season 3 by the time you can unlock him, so you're really going to be wanting to run a legendary artifact. However, there is 2 other artifacts that I will mention here for an epic, for your epic option. If this is going to be your, let's say, your 3rd or your 4th, even your 5th March, and you don't have all the artifacts available to you, you could use your Magic Bomb here, because it does give the magic attack and the Legion attack. Also, the Staff of the Prophet for locating your troops, getting around the field. Now, mind you, this just relocates you to where another group of troops is that you're allied with, so just be cognizant of that. But you can be using Staff of the Prophet just to move around your legions as well. So those are kind of the main ones that I would be looking at running, but the Mirage Orb obviously takes the cake there, just with the 6,000 damage factor, and damage factor to the other legions is 2,000 when you get that thing maxed out there. So moving on from artifacts, we're going to go into pets. So the number one pet here is going to be the Shadow Fade Drake, and the reason that I'm going to put this as the number one pet is just because of the captive here. So it's a attack range very far with the Shadow Hunter skill, deals damage to the target legion, and inflicts captive. So captive, your legion deals more damage to the target inflicted with captive, duration 2 seconds, damage bonus there with the intelligence. So this is what I would be running as my primary pet for your Shadow Fade Drake. So what you're looking for most of all is that intelligence stat being as close to max as possible. Next, what I did is I got a nice roll of luck at 298, so I kept it even though the spirit is a B, and that's really bad, but I did get the 7 slaughter. Next, we're going to be running the Intense Shadow Hunter skill, another intelligence skill. See, we're stacking the intelligence, damage plus 12% right there, plus the 27.36. And then for our 3rd intelligence skill, we are running follow-up. So we have follow-up there. Then I am also running Magic Fortune just because my luck is really high, so this scales really well with my luck. And then Light's Guidance, another luck ability there, crit rate 1%. So we're just gaining, just putting 3 luck, 3 intelligence, and 1 spirit skills. Now the Guardian Oath, that's obviously going to be switched out once I have enough amber to do so, and I'll just show you what we're going to be finalizing the pet with. I'm going to get the Advanced Shadow Hunter for my 1 spirit, so every 75 spirit extends the duration by 1 second of the captive, so I just need to ensure that I've got at least 150 spirit. And then after that, we have the Advanced Follow-Up, which is our 3rd luck there. The trigger chance plus 20%. So that's going to round out my 7 slaughter for my pet there, because that's all he is. There's no point in me rolling this guy anymore. I like it. It's going to serve its purpose, be good enough for me. So that's going to be my personal build for that. If you are looking for other builds, you just go to the Call of Dragons Discord, scroll down till you see guides, and you're going to see this is the most recent updated version of it. And you're going to pop in here and you can see all of your little pet builds. This is a starter. This isn't the be all end all of what's the best build for every case and scenario, but it is a starter to get you where you're going. So as you can see, we have the rage skill, we have those two skills which we've already been over, the follow up, the advanced follow up, we have the spirit, and then I'm running the guide and light. So as you can see, we're kind of following along here nicely as well. So as a backup pet, you can run your Sapphire Fade Drake with obviously focusing on the intelligence. This one is intelligence and spirit, and the luck's really bad. So you're going to be wanting to get, for a 7 slaughter, I'm going to want 3 intelligence skills, 3 spirit skills, and then the last one kind of being luck. I guess it'll be, the advanced follow-up will be luck. Yeah, so that's kind of what you're doing here with the Sapphire Fade Drake. That is going to be the second option there. While you're building out your Shadow Fade Drake, you can run one of your Sapphire Fade Drakes in Bertrand's place. So just kind of to close out the video here, I haven't done much fighting with Bertrand, obviously. Kind of taking the season off, which I've been so busy in my personal life. It works perfect for me. So I don't really have much PvP kills, but I am going to show this here with Baby Atlas. So this was one of the runs that I did in the Abyss. Before the enemies hid behind the back line, and then I just stopped fighting. This is one of the merit exchange reports that I got. So you can actually see that it kept up with my Thea Atheus, you know, and it wasn't even at the point it's at now. So if we click here, Legion buffs, you can see this is just a 5531 with the maxed out, and then a 5111 as you saw there. And it still performed, it outperformed the Lily of Velen in terms of merits, you know, 20,000 here for the Goresh Skogul. So it still did, it's still performing as it's going to be. If I got these guys awakened, it's going to be one of my top marches, especially for merits in Season 3. These guys are absolutely insane. They're going to be pumping out insane damage. Just loving them. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed another one of these Atlas builds.
Rise of the fallen! Rise of the fallen! Rise of the fallen!